about you? Is it dinner time? You guys being loud? Yeah, you know it's time to eat, don't you?
Hello everyone and welcome back to Nate the Hoof Guy. On today's video, we have got two different trims to take a look at. First up is this girl right here. You can see she's hesitant as she's coming in the chute. She doesn't want to put weight on that left front foot. In these two trims I'm going to show you the progression of these white line defects. In this very first case, you're going to see it doesn't take much at all for this cow to show some discomfort. And then in the second case, we're going to show you how one of these can progress in just a couple short days. But first, let's get this foot trimmed up. As I'm trimming here, you may notice some marks on that left claw, that lateral claw. Those are not problematic. Those are simply imperfections in that sole, just normal wear and tear on the cow's hooves. The problem is on that claw on the right, the medial claw. That's where we gotta look. As I begin here, pay attention to where that mark is in relation to that claw. And then pay attention at the end of this trim and see where that lesion ultimately is. Notice how that mark seems to be migrating up the claw? These are the types of marks that can be problematic and lead to abscesses over time. So we zoom in here, you're going to see, even though this cow was showing quite a bit of discomfort on this foot, this is a very small little lesion. This is basically day one of the formation of this type of problem. Let's watch that again and fast forward, and you can see that mark migrating up that claw. For something like this, all she's going to really need is a block and a little bit of chlorhexidine, and that's going to take care of it. This next case we're going to look at, though, is a bit more advanced. You can see here, this one's beginning to produce a little bit of fluid. So what exactly is the root cause of something like this? Something repetitive that's happening over and over again. That can be just stepping on an imbalanced claw. That can be making sharp 90-degree corners. Things that are repetitive as a cow walks that puts pressures in that junction, that white line junction, that junction between the outside wall and the sole of the foot. And over time, a crack forms in that, and ultimately, bacteria is able to enter that crack and work its way to the corium and cause an infection. And that's what you're seeing right here. You hear that in the background? Those are baby calves. Today's setup, we're right next to where the baby calves are, and they're telling us it's time to eat. They've got these jackets on because we're expecting some cold temps coming up soon. As I get closer to the corium, I have to take thinner and thinner slices. I'm getting real close, and when you have fresh lesions like this, there's not a lot of sole separation. That happens over time. This one is probably a couple of days old, so I gotta be real careful as I work around it. This is where those thin-bladed knives come in handy. You can see here we're just breaking through. You can see that area of corium disturbance that I was speaking of earlier. Now that I can see what I've got to deal with here, I'm going to get that block on a little bit earlier than normal. Why am I doing that? Because these cold temps make that glue take a little bit longer to set up. I want to give this block ample time, so I'm going to get it set up now. Once I know that it's not going to be in my way, I can do that without much worry. These next few cuts are the most tricky, and that's because this loose horn is laying tight to that lesion. Got to be careful and slowly and gently lift away as I make that cut so I don't do any damage underneath. Give you a better look here. You can see we've got all that hard horn removed from right around that area. That's the key part to this. We don't want any pinching. That's going to allow that corium to heal nicely. Last bit of trimming here. I'm just going to lower this just a little bit. This heals a little bit higher than I want it, so I'm going to lower it just a touch. You'll notice there's still plenty of sole depth there. Still got over 1/4 of an inch, so that's probably right where I want it to be eventually when this block comes off, so that's about right. I'm going to get this sprayed down really well with chlorhexidine. Make sure we've got this area cleaned out really well. We're going to treat that with salicylic acid. The last step to this trim, just to clean up this excess glue, and that's a wrap. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you all on the next one.
Is it dinner time? Yeah. You guys know when it's time to eat. You're just like my kids. Just like my kids.